Ms Legalista here. Thank you for joining the video. I want to call this was the title I came up with this Russell and the Too Little to Investigate Romance Scam. Now, I've watched part of this and I just had to stop. I was like, let me just go ahead and do the video. So I'm probably going to stop this a lot. And if you've been watching a few of my videos, you know that I have the worst internet connection and it gets all messy with the video and audio. So I'm hoping it won't do a lot of that, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be stopping and starting because I have a lot of things to say about this. So it's totally going to mess things up. But let's go to Russell. I want you to see Russell. I want you to hear this story about what happened to this woman. And let's just see where we're going with this.
Last year, more than 60,000 people fell for romance scams in the U.S., sending love interests more than $1 billion. Debbie Fox's case is included in that number. She says losing the money was hard enough, but finding someone to pay attention to the case re-victimized her all over again. The feds said her loss was too little to investigate, but her local PD took a chance.
Now, I want you to hear some of these numbers, and you tell me if you think these numbers are too little to investigate. Probably if you're the FBI at that level, you're going after people who have gone after millions. Okay, let's just keep it real here. You're probably going to be at the bottom of the totem pole. And I tell my clients that all the time. I'm like, yes, go ahead and report it at the national level. But I'm just going to let you know that unless it's a part of a network, a bigger scam, you're probably not going to get the attention that you want.
I had just come off of 18 months of wonderful solo travel and adventure.
The fall of 2023 finally had Debbie Fox feeling like herself. After years of trauma, divorce, single parenting, losing her second husband to cancer, she was finally moving forward.
Just really felt comfortable and confident and had a great, strong sense of self.
That confidence led her to an online dating platform called Luxy and a man named Russell.
Now, I've never heard of this platform. No reason that I should. I'm not out there looking for anybody. But my first impression here, let's have first impressions of Russell. My first thought was when I saw this, okay, Russell looks clean cut. He looks okay. Nice smile, friendly eyes. See how I'm summing him up and judging him already? He's 65 years old. And I wonder, I'm like, but is that really him? Is this catfished and there's really somebody else behind it? Well, let's see what she says.
I came across a profile of a man that had a very gentle expression. His profile was very warm and inviting. So we had a phone call that went well. Then we decided to be in regular contact and video chat. We were having deep conversations. We were having intellectual conversations.
6 weeks in,
he said, I am embarrassed to even ask you this, but I'm short $48,000. Is there?
That's when it starts. He only waited 6 weeks. He only waited 6 weeks to ask for $48,000. This is like $8,000 a week. Is Russell worth $8,000 a week? Like, that's how she should have asked that in her head. Yes, we started having intellectual conversations. Are those intellectual conversations, is that relationship that we're developing worth $8,000 a week? Because that's really what that cost was when you think about it.
Is there any way you can help me?
Debbie still had doubts, but
he wore me down.
She wired the $48,000 to one of Russell's business accounts.
And I thought, okay, poof, he's going to be gone. And he wasn't.
Russell, of course not. Why is he going to be gone now? He's not going anywhere. He is like, I got you for 48. I got you for 48 after 6 weeks. And okay, so I don't want you to misinterpret my energy, the way I'm saying this. I'm not beating her down. I'm really trying to highlight his perspective, what he is thinking, because what he is thinking is, I'm not going anywhere. This woman, nice, friendly, just gave me essentially $8,000 a week. What kind of job is paying $8,000 a week? To him, that's what this is. This is my job. I'm going to catfish. He didn't really catfish. Okay. I'm going to romance scam you. And 6 weeks later, I'm going to get a $48,000 payout. That was essentially $8,000 a week. You guys, let's put that into the cell phone and come up with how much that is. If he's working 40 hours a day, he's getting paid $200 an hour. Now think about this. He probably wasn't working 40 hours a week. This is very profitable. What he has set up is very profitable. Why would he disappear? Why would he leave? What on earth makes you think he is going to go away after that kind of payday? He is not. And again, this is not to belittle her or her feelings. It is to get you to understand what you look like to the other person. You look like an easy mark. That person was able to get $48,000 out of you in 6 weeks. If they stick with you for a long time, they're thinking this is going to be a payday.
Stayed in contact. A few weeks later, he said he just needed 10 grand more.
A few weeks later.
At the second wire. And then suddenly his attorney is reaching out to me, his alleged attorney, and saying, oh, Russell's been imprisoned.
Now $58,000 out of pocket. She started to question Russell's identity.
And now look at what they have done here. They have made Russell look not so friendly anymore.
And realized this relationship may not have been as real as she thought.
I am just literally sick to my stomach.
Sure.
Like literally, I am in disbelief. It is raw emotion.
She just needed help.
Debbie's case landed on the desk of Arvada detective Adam Ross.
Her case right away didn't seem crazy different compared to a lot of the cases that I've seen kind of come through my door. But then I quickly realized that it was actually going to lead me down a completely different path that I'm very thankful for it.
Through a subpoena, Ross realized Debbie's money had been quickly transferred out of a U.S. bank account and transferred into cryptocurrency, the moment most police investigations stop.
I always thought it was untrackable, untraceable.
But Ross kept pushing, even got certified in investigating crypto.
And all of my previous assumptions about cryptocurrency in general are probably just straight up wrong. By tracking
He explained the process
this one,
to Steve on your side.
I'm looking for 1.3
Needless to say,
1-to-1
it's a little over our heads.
victim and exchange.
But
Mhm.
Ross says he was able to track Debbie's money.
I was able to identify that money going to an actual centralized exchange. The issue is that centralized exchange occurs internationally.
He won't tell us where, since this is still an open investigation.
I have a pretty good idea of where the individual may be, but it kind of is going to take some ingenuity to kind of figure out how we can go after him.
This local detective is making some inroads, but needs some help jurisdictionally from what I can see. So that's really frustrating for me to know that there's a breadcrumb of trails to this individual.
Debbie
Now, I have said that on several occasions here. Now, cryptocurrency, and I think this detective sort of summed it up. We all think that once something goes into cryptocurrency, that it's not something you can track anymore, that it's hidden. It's going to be behind this, wall back here with the magic guy pulling the curtains and none of us can see what's going on. At least that's the feeling that I have. But in some instances, there may be ways to track what's going on. At least that's what he's saying. Now, some of you may be more knowledgeable about cryptocurrency and the way it works. I tried to even set up one of those wallets. It's just it's stuff that is, like he said, over my head. It's literally over my head. But when that money comes back out and it goes back to a regulated financial institution, well, that's when that person is no longer behind that curtain and it becomes an opportunity for law enforcement to be able to track them down again.
still has her doubts about whether she'll ever see justice,
Statistics are against me.
but she isn't ready to give up just yet.
There's a ray of hope. And so for me to just say, done, walk away, I haven't reached that point. I don't know the ending of the story for me.
Debbie's story doesn't end there. She now wants to be an advocate for people who've been victimized through cybercrime. She's writing a book about all of this, and she wants to speak on behalf of fraud victims and advocate for their rights. Telling her story to Steve on your side is the first step.
Yes. So I think that's really and truly what I have been trying to get across with some of what I'm doing here. It is the sharing of stories. I had written this down somewhere. I can't even remember where it was, but I was talking a little bit about how in the beginning, when I was on this YouTube channel, I was first talking about, YouTube and business. And then I was focused a little bit more on some of the celebrity fraud. But I realized that those celebrity issues really aren't like the fraud and scam issues that the rest of us go through. Yes, their stuff just gets really weird, and some of them do some really weird things. But when you look at the billions of dollars that are being lost every year to fraud, it feels like this can be a better opportunity to raise awareness on this issue. So I am totally down with Debbie and what Debbie is trying to do. And that's why I'm sharing these stories. And again, like I said before, not beating her down, but really sort of highlighting this other person, is going to try to get out of her as much money as he can. He got that initial 48. He thought, I'm going to go back for another 10. Then I'm going to put my attorney up here. We're going to try to go for some more. At that point, she realizes, yeah, this is probably a scam and I've lost $58,000 at this point. But guess what? I'm going to work really hard to make sure that nobody else loses $58,000, at least in terms of the people that I reach out to. So again, sharing Debbie's story here and what happened to her so that fewer people can have this happen to them. All right, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Peace.